Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum, 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 bum. All right, I'm traveling in Taiwan. This is the hostel that I'm staying at. Yeah. Uh, at least the lobby. And it made me reflect on a disagreement I had with my roommate back home last March, and I moved out of his place in a hurry. Now, I packed very lightly for this trip, and I noticed that when things don't go my way, like yesterday when the hostel that I wanted to stay at wasn't available, it weighed a lot less on me because I didn't have all my stuff, right? So my roommate and I had some toxic chemistry, if you will, in large part because we both work very long hours and sometimes don't see eye to eye with various things. He had an ulterior reason for renting the room to me. I didn't know it until going into it. He had saw me as possibly an activity partner, and in the right circumstances that might have worked, but I have work to do and I have my own hobbies, right? I don't necessarily dislike what he wanted to do with me. And the problem is that I had gotten all settled in, and we had a number of disagreements about that. And when he threatened to kick me out, it weighed very heavily on me. I'm an artist, I have a lot of fragile stuff. One day he had gotten frustrated that I didn't have the patience to listen to him with something, and he had threatened to kick me out. And when he said it that way, it created a lot of tension because I thought about how am I going to move all my art out of here. It's not something that I can move overnight. And I learned my lesson at my next place after his. I've since moved out of that because I came to Taiwan. But at my next place after his, I decided not to move a lot of art into my new place because I realized that any sort of bad news will weigh heavily on me if I have to think about how am I going to get out of there. And it made me think about what- it made me hesitate on the concept of one day having children because that last apartment that had I had children and he was making threats of removing me, I can only imagine how I would feel. My heart goes out to anybody who has children, especially a single parent, and they're hearing threats like that. And so it was bad enough to hear it with my fragile art in there. I can only imagine hearing it with children in there. And so I don't know. The roommate I was dealing with, he didn't have children of his own, right? If he did, he probably wouldn't have uh, made remarks like that. Now, looking back at it, maybe he was exaggerating his discontent with me, but as soon as he made the threat to kick me out, there was like no turning back. It created so much drama for me that I wasn't reacting properly to him. In the future, if that happens, maybe I should. One thing I could have done was to stop communicating with him, and you know what was really funny now looking back, well, it's funny now, but at the time was very frustrating. I discovered that my headsets kept disappearing when I was living. I thought I was just being absent-minded. After I had moved out, I had a friend go over there to help me pick up stuff because I was so uh, uh, tensions were just so high. My friend pulled out four sets of headphones that I had lost at his home. I now looking back at it, I'm wondering why they got lost and why they reappeared only after I moved out. But whatever the situation is, I also learned that I uh first of all I allowed myself to be vulnerable. Number one. Number two, that I uh, I need to read people better in terms of ulterior situations. And number three, I need to be better situated before I make big investments, like having children, like the art projects and all that. I didn't have strong enough hands to do what I was trying to do. This is the Peter Light Show. Bum 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 bum.